It's a pretty day, but it's cold. I just put some of the rest of the bird seed I had out, and nuts, and then I put some apple out, peels and part of the apple I had this morning with my breakfast. I'm on my way to Tractor Supply to get some more bird seed and nuts if I can find them. It's about 37 degrees out right now. A little chilly, but it's a pretty sunny day. We're supposed to get a lot of rain this weekend though, so I thought I'd go out today and do it. So I got a couple of different types of bird feed, and then they had their seeds out. So of course I had to look, and I remembered that I didn't get any pea seeds and that it's pea planting time. So I got a couple packets. They were kind of expensive for what you got. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot of seed in here. And they were $2.49. So seedlings. It's lettuce and cabbage, I think. Oh, I have gnats. I need to water again and probably move. Yeah, these are getting too big. So one of my avocados is ripe. So I am going to make this one pot Mexican quinoa meal. So years ago, it's probably been 10 years, I'm thinking, I used to get HelloFresh meals. Found it online when I first decided to make this dish for you all. So I'm going to try and post it. Hopefully it works, because the last time I did that didn't work out too good. It brought up some weird, when I posted the link, it brought up some weird, some other, I think it was a cookie, the shortbread cookie one, and it brought up some other kind of shortbread cookie that I wasn't trying to link to. So I had to delete that one. So anyway, I'm going to get all this ready. I'm going to change it a little bit. So the original recipe calls for vegetable stock concentrate, and of course I don't have any. And instead of olive oil, I'm going to use avocado oil because that's what I have. And they want you to use a corn on the cob, and you actually cut the corn off, which I do when it's in season, and I make this dish, but I bought frozen corn, which I need to thaw out first. Kind of have to guess how much to use because, yeah, I'm not sure how much corn is on a corn on the cob. So I'm going to get all the ingredients ready, and then I'll show you what I'm doing. So the first thing I'm going to do is just go over the ingredients. 3/4 cup of quinoa. I use a little bit more, maybe a whole cup. just because when I've made this in the past, there's been too much liquid and it doesn't soak up very well. 2 cloves of garlic, minced. 1 jalapeno, finely chopped. Vegetable stock concentrate. Mine is chicken stock. I used a bouillon cube and a cup of water because the ingredients, one of the ingredients is a cup of water. 1 can of black beans, a can of diced tomatoes, 1 corn on the cob, I used frozen, 1 teaspoon of cumin and 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 avocado. I usually use more than 1 avocado because I like avocado. It goes on top of the dish after it's all done. Feta cheese, another topper, it's in the fridge. Olive oil, I'm going to use avocado oil, and then salt and pepper. You use salt and pepper all through the cooking process. So I'm going to move over to the stove. Tablespoon of oil. So you want to put the garlic, jalapenos, and the seasoning in first and let them bloom. And all through the cooking, you're supposed to salt and pepper it. I've got it on medium-low heat right now. It smells so good. This is probably my favorite HelloFresh meal. The only one I make a lot of. Okay. So you're going to add almost all the other ingredients. It says to bring to a boil, cover, reduce heat to low, and cook for 15 minutes until the quinoa is tender. So yesterday I got which was Thursday, today's Friday. Yesterday I got my dryer fixed, so no more squeaking. It wasn't the belt. It was the roller support, the little wheels in the back, all the way in the back of the dryer. He said that they used to put in the heavy duty ones and now they just put in some cheap thin, and he showed me. They use the cheaper ones, and then of course they have to be replaced. And the heavy duty ones, the thicker ones, he showed me the difference. There's quite a bit of difference. So hopefully my dryer is good for a while. He also recommended Speed Queen dryers. He's the one that told me to buy a Whirlpool all those years ago. And yeah, so that whole repair job could have taken him 15 minutes, but he's a talker, and he was here over 2 hours because he was chit-chatting about his son and his wife and talking about people in town. He knows a lot more people than I do. I don't even know. I just thought it was funny that he was here that long, and I didn't even realize it. I knew it was taking longer because he would stop and explain things. And then we were talking about refrigerators. He was talking about somebody that he repaired refrigerators for, and I said, yeah, I said, I have an old fridge, it's really old, and I said, but it probably needs the seal replaced because it's not closing right. So he said, he went over and looked at it and checked the seal, and it was fine. And he thought it was because it wasn't adjusted right, to where if the floor sloped a little bit, it needed to come up in the front so that it would, when you close the door, it would stay closed. I am not explaining this very well. Yeah. So I usually have to make sure I hold the door and make sure it's closed because I've come back into the kitchen, and me or one of the kids that were living here would just like not close it completely, and it would be open, and then the contents would get warm. So he adjusted the legs and it still didn't help. Well, found out that there was a piece of the rubber, the seal on the back end, the other end, back end, that was like bunched up and causing it not to close right. So he fixed that. He didn't charge me for it. Yeah, he told me not to buy a new refrigerator until this one completely died because they don't last. He did recommend if I had to buy a new washer and dryer to buy a Speed Queen, even though they're more costly. They last longer, and they're built like they used to be back in the old days. So hopefully if one or both goes out, I'll remember that, because my memory's not too good anymore. So this is after 15 minutes. And as you can see, there's too much liquid still in here. So I'm going to add a little bit more quinoa. So I added about 1/4 cup more of the quinoa. I'm going to cover this back up and let it cook another 5 minutes or so and see if it absorbs the liquid. I think I need to make a note on my recipe not to use so much water. This happens every time I make this, and I think I adjust for it, but I didn't adjust enough. I wonder if you're supposed to drain the tomatoes. It doesn't say one way or another. And I wonder if that's why. That's a possibility, because look at the picture. It doesn't look like there's any liquid in that picture, but it doesn't say drain it. It says to drain the beans, but nowhere does it say to drain the liquid off the tomatoes. I bet that's it. I bet that's why. But the tomato juice in there gives it more flavor. So I'm gonna have to adjust this when I make it again and make notes. It's starting to thicken up. It's supposed to be the consistency of like cooked rice, I guess. No liquid left. So this is at 7 minutes more. So that's 22 minutes. And the quinoa is still a little crunchy. I just turned the heat off. It's about right. This is what it's supposed to look like. The quinoa is cooked, even though I kept adding more. This is the dish all done. It's no liquid. I'm just gonna put, can't see. I'm just gonna put some avocado. I used half the avocado because I love avocado. Trying to make it pretty. And then feta cheese. So it's really easy. A lot of ingredients, I guess, but it's so good. It's really good in the summertime. And the whole house. Some people don't like smells, cooking smells through their house, but I do. It smells so good in my house right now. It's so good. I know I say that about everything I make, but it is. It's fairly healthy. It does have a lot of salt in it, but with feta cheese and then adding more salt, but it's so good. I hope you try it. My onions that I planted, they're getting a little tall and they're starting to get too close to the light, so I'm going to trim them. So I trimmed them up a little bit. So I pulled the sad looking leeks out of the dome. So I'm about to warm up dinner. I'm gonna have a little bit of the sauerkraut ribs over rice for a really late dinner. I'm trying to go to bed earlier because I have a doctor's appointment around 10 in the morning towards the end of the month, and because the place that I volunteer, I usually try to go in there at 11, so I have to get up and eat and shower, and so it's better, it would be better if I got up at a normal time instead of this staying up all night or half the night. Usually I don't get to sleep until 2, 3, or 4 in the morning because I just don't get up early, and then I can't sleep I can't go to sleep. So trying to do better. So take care and thank you for watching. Bye.